I'm Jacob Courtwright, and this is The Locker Room. What's going on, everybody, and welcome into The Locker Room. On today's very fun episode, this episode is dedicated to my grandmother who just passed away. Thank you for everybody for your thoughts and prayers. Funeral is this coming Friday, so we appreciate all the thoughts and prayers. Before we can get started into this very fun episode, make sure you're following The Locker Room on our social media. You can stay connected. You can do college game day pick'ems. You can get exclusive content on our Instagram, on our YouTube, on Twitter, whatever it is. We have so much exclusive stuff going on right now that you do not want to miss. That is TLR Podcast 615, TLR Podcast 615 on social media. You can join in on the exclusive, win prizes on contests. There's so much to do, so join now. This episode is brought to you by FNX Fitness. Go to fnxfit.com. That is fnxfit.com for all of your gym needs, from clothing to supplements to recoveries to vitamins to steroids. I didn't say that one out loud. To anything you need to have a happier and healthier lifestyle and a better gym experience, go to FNX Fitness and use your promo code TLRHOST. That is TLRHOST for 15% off your order. So I told you this episode was dedicated to my grandma, and listen, I'm here to celebrate my grandma, celebrate the life that she lived. She was awesome. She's up in heaven right now, dancing around the pearly gates with my pa. So, not to get too gospel on you, but I truly believe that she's in heaven right now and enjoying eternity with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. But I'm here to celebrate her and tell you some funny stories, because listen, my grandma was on that weird gap, right, where she got into Facebook and she got into all that stuff with enough time to be dangerous at it. And by dangerous, I mean enough time to where she knew how to make a post. She knew how to comment on posts. And so my grandma, of course, anytime you'd make a post, she would use the little stickers on Facebook. Put crazy googly eyes or whatever. I remember one time I posted some sappy post. I forget what happened. Something had happened to me, and my grandma put the laughing face with the tears because she thought that meant she was sad. And the way I read it, and the way the whole rest of the world read that, is that she was laughing at my pain. So if that's any indication as to how Facebook is a dangerous tool for an older person, that's one example. My favorite all-time story, and I had to start with this all-time story with my grandma. So my grandma was into reposting on Facebook. Not a lot of original content coming from grandma, right? She was into reposting. And the problem with reposting is she would never read what she's reposting. Like, grandma would repost stuff all the time that was like, living for the weekend, hashtag party life it up. But she wouldn't read the hashtag party life it up. She would just read, living for the weekend. And, she just had to let her followers know that she was a party girl and she was going to party it up. God help us if you ever sent her a friend request. She accepted everybody. The fake accounts, the porn accounts, the spam accounts, all of it. Just accepted them all. And then they would DM her and be like, add me on Snapchat. And she would reply back, what is a Snapchat? This is true, people. This is the kind of stuff that my grandma did on Facebook. And it was amazing. But my favorite all-time story of my grandma being on Facebook. I'm scrolling through Facebook one day, and I see a post that my grandma reposted. And I'm like, oh, let's see what G reposted today, because, it's usually something funny. And this time it was supposed to be meaningful. So it was a picture of Jesus, and it said, like and share this picture if you love Jesus. I'm like, okay, she's just praising the Lord on her Facebook. I get that. And I get ready to go share it. Make her feel good, be her third share of the day. And I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, this don't look like Jesus. So I'm looking at it a little bit harder. Then it hits me. That is not Jesus. That is Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars. So I picked up the phone and called Grandma because I'm laughing my face off at this point. Tears down my face. I'm laughing that hard because she swore that this was a picture of Jesus, and it was full on Obi-Wan Kenobi in his Jedi getup. Not even like, dressed up like Jesus would be dressed up back in the day. Like just straight up in his Jedi outfit. He had a lightsaber on his hip, and she swore to everything that was Jesus. So I called her and I said, hey, G, and she's like, oh, hey, what's going on? I said, hey, I just want to let you know on Facebook, you reposted Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's not Jesus. And she said, no. The post said, this is a picture of Jesus. Like and share if you like Jesus. I love Jesus. So I reposted it. And I said, yeah, but I'm trying to get you to understand here, G, is that is a Jedi Knight. That is a mentor to Anakin Skywalker. That's not Jesus. And it never got through to her head. And to this day, it's my all-time favorite story of Grandma because she swears that was Jesus. And that's just who my grandma was. She loved everybody, loved everything, was very, very naive with technology, and it made my heart happy, okay? I was the grandkid that always would just try and say something horrible around her just to watch her flip out. And listen, I'm not claiming to be a great person, okay? I know that I was a jackass, but listen, watching my grandma flip out when I would say something was easily one of the funniest things in the entire world because she'd do that thing where she would get up and try and chase you and smack you, and I would just lightly jog in front of her because she couldn't lightly jog. Oh man, just good memories, and I just wanted to share a few of my favorite stories of Grandma. Love you. Glad that you're in a much better place now. Okay, so a big topic of controversy that's been kind of in and out, and we know that players are getting paid now in the college world. But a lot of people are trying to speculate, is it affecting college football? Is it affecting college basketball? Is it going to affect these sports and these athletes? Or if they're making millions of dollars, have they already in their own mind thought that they've made it? Therefore, you're going to lose a lot of what people love about college football is the fact that the heart, the effort, the energy is always there because these kids are trying to earn something. That's what separates college from the NFL. That's what separates college from the NBA. Is these kids are trying to earn a spot in the NFL, earn a spot in the NBA, pay for their college, whatever it is. What they're doing as a student athlete is to earn something greater. So they have to work extra hard. They put forth more effort. They try even harder in practice, try even harder on the football field. And that's why I think college sports in general do much better statistically wise than professional sports. Nobody wants to see a bunch of overpaid grown-ass men and women whining and crying about money when they're worth $80 million. And no one wants to see a lot of these athletes just not care too much, especially I think in the NBA. You get a lot of guys that they've made their money. It's an 85-game season. You watch us around the playoff time. You watch us after the All-Star break. That's when we're going to start playing for you. I mean, sometimes you even see it in the NFL. I mean, the NFL is a little bit different, but you're still seeing that same attitude in a lot of your professional sports, and that's why college sports has a much wider fan base. That's why college sports is fun to watch because these kids are giving it everything they've got every single game, every single practice. Why? Because they have to earn what their dream is, whether that's just to pay for their college or whether that's to be in the NBA, to be in the NFL, to be in the WNBA, whatever it is, they're earning it. And that passion, that energy just can't be made up. So then that begs to the big question here. Will money affect these college athletes? Of course, that's probably a dumb question. Yes, we know it's going to affect these college athletes. We know it's going to affect the college game, at least at some level. But will it affect the college game as a whole negatively? Will it affect these athletes negatively? Are we going to see the work ethic, the passion, the determination start to decrease as these kids are making millions and millions already, as opposed to working to try and earn their millions? They're getting it just by being student athletes. I mean, I think it's Alabama's quarterback either this year or this coming year that's already making like $1.3 million from endorsements. So what kind of effect is that going to have on him as a player? Is his work ethic still going to be there? Is he going to strive to be the best quarterback in college football? It's hard to say. When these kids are getting $1 million checks, when these kids are getting $500,000 checks, even for me at 25, 26 years old, I'd be losing my mind, right? That's so much money. It's ridiculous. And these kids are 18 and 19 years old making millions already. So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered about this. And I think the first question that I need to address is, do I believe that these college kids should be getting paid? My answer to that is yes. If they're going to use your likeness for the video games, if they're going to sell your merchandise with your number and your name, you have a right to get paid for that. You do. Now, here's where all the athletes are probably on board with me right now going, yeah, absolutely, we do. And you do. You deserve to be paid. You deserve to be collecting a check. Now, here's where I think things can get a little messy. The balance of pay scale is going to be insane. You're going to have kids making $3, $4, $5, $6 million. You're going to have kids making $3, $4, $5,000. And I get that based on the market, based on the team, based on recognizability, based on the player's, value, how great that player is. Spencer Rattler is going to make more than name a quarterback in college football. Mertz, the quarterback for Wisconsin. You've got two different caliber players. Both are starters at their school. One's a much bigger market in Oklahoma than, Wisconsin's still a big program. But, Spencer Rattler is going to dominate the sales of his jersey, endorsement deals, blah, blah, blah. Probably going to be the first quarterback taken off this upcoming draft board, right? So I do believe they deserve to get paid. And I do believe that for all the hard work that they're putting in, they should be getting checks for all of that. Now, is there a possibility of maybe regulating it or putting in some sort of rules and practices and standards that can keep this not necessarily an even playing field, but I guess the best way to put this is a safe playing field. And what I mean by that is a playing field to where you're not going to overwhelm some of these guys. I mean, if you have Justin Herbert, if you have Spencer Rattler, if you have Baker Mayfield, if Baker Mayfield was able to get paid in college, he'd be worth probably $11, $12 million while still playing college football. And we know the trouble he was getting in when he was worth none of that. We know the trouble he was getting in with just being a starter for Oklahoma. So the danger is now you're giving 18, 19, and 20-year-old kids and superstars in their college teams and in college sports a bunch of money that is just going to do nothing but get them in even more trouble. So this is the fine line that you have to walk down is you're giving kids unlimited cash flow. You're giving kids unlimited amounts of endorsement deals and blah, blah, blah. And now you're going to have a bunch of 18 and 19-year-old millionaires that it's going to be very hard to get them to show up to class. It's going to be very hard to get them to behave. The one thing that most college kids have in common is they're all poor. They're eating ramen noodles. They're going to parties and drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's just the college life. And now if you're giving millions and millions and millions of dollars to some of these guys, especially the athletes, now you're putting them in a kind of a dangerous situation. Now they're buying alcohol for the entire party and there's a bunch of underage drinking going on. I'm not saying that, of course that's not going to happen anyways, but what I'm saying is that when you have powerful athletes with a lot of money, you have problems that are always going to follow. So what I propose, in order to try and make it a little bit more even, in order to just not let so much money flow in that these kids lose their minds, because we saw this happen look at Justin Bieber. When he was 20 years old and worth almost $1 billion, it's very hard for Justin Bieber to start taking life seriously and to grow up and be an adult. It's taken him till later in his years for that to happen. And I don't want to see a bunch of young kids throw their lives away just because they got a bunch of cash up front. So I say, why don't we start putting these kids on salary? Right? Now all salary is going to be different. Spencer Rattler is going to make way more than whatever, a wide receiver, a running back, a safety, XYZ. He's going to get the better endorsement deals. But let's make sure if he gets a $1.3 million deal from, let's say, Nike. Nike's going to give him $1.3 million. Why doesn't he have to take that in some sort of a kind of allowance or some sort of paycheck like he would a job? Because college football is a job. Listen, I played college football. It is a full-time job. So why doesn't he get a paycheck at the end of every 2 weeks? Or why doesn't he get a stipend at the end of every semester? He gets $30,000, $40,000, whatever it is, $150,000 at the end of each semester. Just so you're not A, overwhelming these kids, B, they're still getting paid for what they should be getting paid for, and C, make that money, make sure that they have to, I don't know, if they make that much money, make them have to get an agent. That way, an agent is going to help regulate the cash flow. The agent is going to help these kids make good decisions. Because listen, if I was 19 and was worth, $1.3 million, it's going to be very hard for me to make smart decisions. So make sure that they have some sort of help. I just don't want to see a bunch of athletes getting paid and then a bunch of athletes getting broke and a bunch of athletes being homeless because, no, why would I go to the league? Because I'm already making $5.6 million by the time I've graduated. By the time I'm a junior in college, I'm already worth $11 million. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of broke kids because they've blown all their money throughout college. I just want to see that the NCAA protects the player just as much as they pay the player. And I don't know if smaller money increments would help. I don't know if they should be required to get a sports agent within 30 days of signing their big deal if it's over X amount of dollars. If you make over $450,000, you should have to sign a sports agent. I truly believe that. These kids need to be protected. And a lot of these kids, and I keep calling them kids because they are kids, but a lot of these kids, come from backgrounds where they don't have that much money. These kids got to college because they played sports. Trust me, I was one of those kids who, the only reason I went to college is because I worked my butt off to get a scholarship to pay for my college. So money can be very overwhelming, and I don't want to see it bring down college sports. I don't want to see college sports dwindle and the viewership dwindle and the effort and the passion and the energy dwindle because now you have a bunch of paid 18-year-old brats that are blowing their money on parties as opposed to focusing on their sport, as opposed to focusing on finishing their college degree. And listen, I am in no way trying to sound like Scrooge McDuck, right? I'm not trying to say, these kids shouldn't get XYZ. I'm just saying that I just don't want to see, because I have many, many friends that are college athletes at the highest level. Literally from the highest Division 1s and SEC all the way down to Division 2s. And I don't want to see a bunch of kids have their lives ruined because they had so much money thrown at them so quickly with no help, nobody there to help advise them. So I think they should add, an agent after X amount of dollars, or they should have to they're only allowed to take part of the check per semester, whatever it is, something to help regulate these kids and help them be set up and help them mentally cope with getting all this money and help them mentally cope with how to spend it, how to save it, how to live a normal life while being worth $1.3 million and trying to finish your college degree and still playing your college sport. And if all of that gets taken care of, if the nitty-gritty details of them getting paid gets worked out and taken care of, then the biggest question remains is, will it affect college football? Will it affect college basketball, college baseball, whatever it is? I don't think so. You see, the atmosphere of the college game is so much more diverse, so much better, so much more atmospheric than all professional sports that I just don't see the players really being affected by the dollar signs. They're more affected by the atmosphere that they're around. And you're still going to see these kids playing to finish paying out, paying for school, or still see these kids trying to get into the league. And that's the beautiful part about college sports is that atmosphere, that energy, all of the above when it comes to college sports is what influences the player more so than I think money ever could. There's no day like game day. There is no atmosphere like college football stadiums. There's no atmosphere like the NCAA tournament. There's second to none. You can name 1,000 professional sports, and I would put all of those sports up against it. So I don't believe that it is going to affect the college game for the simple fact that the college game is the sports at its purest form. And even though money is coming into the equation, I don't think money is going to be a factor to change that whatsoever.
And that's the way the news goes.
Okay, so I'm going to start a new segment where I give you my top 5 QBs after every couple of weeks in the NFL. And it's based on how they're playing at the time, right? So this list is always going to be changing. It's not going to be, top 5 QBs, of course, everybody knows. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, blah, 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 blah. Like, my list actually doesn't even contain Patrick Mahomes in my top 5 through week 2. Like I said, it's week 2. There's been some quarterbacks that are just playing at a better level, have their team in a better position, whatever it might be. So, here are my top 5 QBs after week 2. Coming in at number 1, Mr. Thomas Edwards Patrick Brady. Tom Brady has been going insane to start off the year. I mean, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, got his team at 2-0, looking like Super Bowl champs yet again. Can we all just agree that it's insanity what Tom Brady's doing at this age, at this level? The fact that this man has 9 touchdowns through 2 games. Now, he hasn't been playing the best of the best. You know, he played the Dallas Cowboys in week 1, which is a formidable team. But, I mean, 9 touchdowns. And also, I'm pretty sure like 7 of those have gone to Gronk. Gronk's going, if you picked up Gronk for fantasy this year, congratulations. Because no one thought he was going to do what he's doing this year, and he's just catching every single short 5-yard touchdown that Tom Brady is willing to throw him. It's insanity. Not only does Tom Brady look like he's 27 again, Tom Brady's looking like he's on an MVP campaign. The fact that he's already put up 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, got his team undefeated thus far, like, is Tom Brady on the hunt for another MVP? Is Tom Brady on the hunt for a regular season MVP? I keep waiting and waiting, just like the rest of the world, for Father Time to finally catch up to Tom Brady, for Tom Brady to literally go to throw a football for 10 yards and it can't get 3. I'm waiting for Tom Brady to just fall off the face of the earth, to just be horrible. There was a clear transition from Jordan's good years to his bad years. We all saw it. When he came back for Washington, he was not Michael Jordan. We have not seen that drop off from Tom Brady, and he's double the age of Michael Jordan. Like, this dude is 46? Playing at this level? They look like the best team in football. Now, their defense definitely needs to step up, and it will. You know, Devin White and everybody just getting back on track. But, like, offensively, they're almost impossible to stop. Leonard Fournette's a very formidable back. Rob Gronkowski's going out of his mind. You have Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown's on the COVID list, but you have Antonio Brown there. You know, it's just a well-oiled machine, and it's crazy to think that one player in Tom Brady can completely change a franchise, you know, this much. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. I didn't want to ever admit this, but he is. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. It's still crazy that he's competing and playing at this high of a level and is leading the NFL in touchdown passes at the ripe age of whatever it is, 46, 47. He's one of those two. So the greatest of all time comes in at number 1 on my list. At number 2, Kyler Murray. First off, since when did the phrase little people can do big things mean literally? You know, like, that was like what people used to say when they were being mean to little people. And they're like, dude, we can do big things too. You know, like, we can become millionaires next way. Like, Kyler Murray is legit a little person. This is no diss to little people at all. He's a legit little person, though, playing in the NFL at like 5'6". And he's just tearing teams apart on the ground, throughout the air. He's got the Cardinals at 2-0. He's got 7 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Numbers are ridiculous. He dismantled the Tennessee Titans, who are a formidable opponent in the NFL. They're no pushover. Beats the Vikings, another decent team. Now, I'm not saying the Vikings are great, but another decent team. Kyler Murray looks like the little engine that could. And the sad part is Kyler Murray can't even ride roller coasters yet. But Kyler Murray should give you hope. Little people can do big things, and Kyler Murray's doing massive things with his arm. What I think is so crazy about Kyler Murray, too, is the fact that he's electric on his feet. Electric. In the words of my late great uncle, he's still alive. But I just like saying late great uncle because it's fun. He's a speedy little bastard. I mean, he is. He has shown through weeks 1 and 2 that he might be the most electric runner of the football in the NFL, right behind Lamar Jackson. I can't put him ahead of Lamar because what Lamar just did to Kansas City was mind-blowing, being able to just run all over the field like it was nothing. But he's right up there with Lamar Jackson, and that's saying a lot because Lamar Jackson might be the greatest runner of the football at the quarterback position that we've ever seen. So that has thrusted Kyler Murray into the number 2 slot through week 2. Now this, of course, like I said, is going to change. We're going to do this segment probably every 2 or 3 weeks. So that way it's a fresh update. But at number 3 thus far through the year, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, has his team at 2-0. Matthew Stafford, might be the third best thrower of the football in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes 1, Aaron Rodgers 2, Matthew Stafford 3. Everybody craps on Matthew Stafford because he played in Detroit. And what you have to understand is that phrase right there. He played in Detroit. What is Detroit besides arguably one of the worst cities in America? He played there. It was a tire fire on top of a dumpster fire, on top of a burning building. It was the Jacksonville Jaguars of the North. Except Jacksonville at least had nice weather. Detroit was all the bad things that you don't want. Horrible weather, horrible football team, new head coaches every year, no weapons to throw to. It was miserable. And he was still putting up numbers. So he gets to Los Angeles. You got a beautiful stadium. You've got a team that is not only a contender, but is my dark horse to make the Super Bowl. We're going to talk Super Bowl predictions, Super Bowl sleepers coming up in a couple weeks. But, the Rams have every opportunity to win a Super Bowl. With Matthew Stafford at the helm is the most important part. See, what Jared Goff couldn't do for Sean McVay is be dynamic with his throws. Jared Goff is a decent starting quarterback. He is decent for the Detroit Lions. He is somebody that knows how to read the defense quickly. He knows how to deliver an accurate football, but he's not dynamic. He's not going to be able to make the elite throws that Sean McVay needs from his style of play. Matthew Stafford can do that. Seriously, if you don't believe how good he is, look up Matthew Stafford highlights and your mind will be blown. One of the most talented players we have in the NFL that's been completely unnoticed because he was at Detroit. So Matthew Stafford going to Los Angeles Rams, already on a tear. They have the best defense in the NFL just on top of that. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higgins, you name it, they've got them. They've got a very good offense. Their offensive line's holding up very strong. Matthew Stafford, thus far, third best quarterback in the NFL through week 2. At number 4, this one's going to shock a lot of people, but I love the way this guy's been playing. He went into the year not knowing if he was going to have the starting job. He battled for it. He won it in the preseason. Mr. Teddy Bridgewater. See, what Teddy Bridgewater does so well is a game manager, but at a higher level. I guess I don't know the term. I haven't come up with a term for it. He is a game manager, but a game manager that can win games. When you're a game manager a lot of times as a quarterback, and trust me, coming from a Chicago Bears fan, I know what a game manager is. We've drafted all of them, okay? All of the horrible, annoying white quarterbacks that are only game managers, Chicago's had all of them. So I know what a game manager is. Teddy Bridgewater is a game manager. That is his style of play. And what I mean by a game manager, for those of you who are like, yeah, they're technically all game managers. You're right. I said game managers, just to be clear. You're right. They are all game managers. But Teddy Bridgewater is a game manager because he's not going to put the ball in harm's way. He's not going to force throws. He's going to just, if the pass isn't there, if the play's not there, he's just going to toss it out of bounds and set up for the next play. He's not going to really get out of the pocket much and try and, kill you with his legs. He's not going to try and extend the play. Teddy Bridgewater is a very good game manager quarterback in the NFL. And when he's put into the right system in the Denver Broncos, which I think is the perfect system for him, you see him being successful. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, has his team at 2-0 right now. But if you look at the game on Sunday, he made some throws that were big-time throws. That one deep ball is a big-time throw. So good old Teddy is gaining my respect. He's got Shannon Sharp's respect. Shannon Sharp saying that the Denver Broncos are about to start the season 5-0, which, they very well could if they're going to continue to play the Jacksonville Jaguars every week, or they're going to continue to play the Houston Texans or whoever it may be. But I like Teddy Bridgewater. He's found a very good home. It was great that he got out of Carolina because he is a useful game-managing quarterback in this league. And Denver has a bunch of weapons. Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. They've got weapons. They've got people that can catch the football, and they have a guy now in Teddy Bridgewater that can deliver an accurate football and let his playmakers be playmakers. I guess that's the best way to put it. He doesn't have to do anything special in order for his team to be special. As long as he gets the ball to his playmakers, because he's got a lot of dynamic young playmakers on that team, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be just fine. At number 5, to round us out, Russell Wilson. You see, even though Russell Wilson is 1-1, the crazy game against the Tennessee Titans, he has 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, got his team at 1-1. But what Russell Wilson is proving is that Russell Wilson can do it with nothing. I know he's got DK Metcalf. I know he's got Tyler Lockett. I'm not saying he doesn't have receivers. What I'm saying is he doesn't have a tight end. He doesn't have an offensive line. He doesn't have a defense that can get his back. He doesn't have a running back that can consistently put up the yardage and take the edge off of the defense. Like, Chris Carson's a decent starting running back in the NFL, but you don't know what you're going to get. You'll get Chris Carson that's going to rush for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, or you'll get Chris Carson that is going to rush for 63 yards and no touchdowns with a fumble. So Russell Wilson he's been asked to shoulder that franchise. Ever since the Legion of Boom went away, ever since the Legion of Boom went bye-bye, he has been asked to shoulder that franchise. He's been asked to literally throw their way into the playoffs every single year. And Russell Wilson's coming out of the gate, slinging the rock, being dynamic, making big-time throws. And honestly, I think the most important part is all the offseason drama that came with this. We didn't even know if Russell Wilson was going to be a Seattle Seahawk. A lot of us, including me, thought he was going to be a Chicago Bear. And I'm just saying that if he was a Chicago Bear, it's a wrap. The Bears would have already won the Super Bowl 2 times over. Game over. One of the best defenses in the NFL. Russell Wilson added to that offense with Matt Nagy's brain would have been insane. But we got Justin Fields now making his first career start on Sunday. Go Justin, go Justin. So we're excited about that. But Russell Wilson. I mean, we could talk about Russell Westbrook. We're going to talk about Russell Westbrook and the Lakers actually next week on the podcast because I haven't, those of you who know, I think LeBron's the greatest of all time. So we've got to talk a little bit about how Russell Westbrook can affect the Lakers, and we'll get into all that, of course, next week. But Russell Wilson deserves a pat on the back for what he's doing already. This Seattle team, if you take Russell Wilson off of it, is a below average team. This Seattle team is a team that is probably in the hunt for a top 5, top 6 pick in the NFL draft next year. They just are. You don't understand the elevation that he gives that franchise. You don't understand what he brings to that franchise. Hell, Pete Carroll doesn't understand what Russell Wilson brings to that franchise. So that's my top 5 QBs through week 2. And like I said, we're going to do this about every couple weeks. Every 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have my top 5 QBs. And this list is going to update. Listen, Patrick Mahomes just barely missed the list. Lamar Jackson just barely missed the list. And there's some younger guys that are starting to surprise me. There's a lot of young quarterbacks. I mean, Zach Wilson's not making this list, especially with the debacle of the 4 interceptions or whatever it was on Sunday. Trevor Lawrence keeps getting hurt because Jacksonville's the worst franchise in the entire world still. But there's a lot of guys. Sam Darnold's creeping up. Now, I'm not saying he's top 5, top 8, but Sam Darnold might be in my top 10 if he keeps playing the way he is. Let's see how Justin Fields does. There's a lot of good younger quarterbacks that are slowly starting to make some noise. Justin Herbert, it was very hard, and I didn't want to put him up here yet because he's had a couple turnovers that I just didn't like. Put the ball in harm's way a little bit too much, but Justin Herbert is going to be in the top 5 at some point throughout the year. Justin Herbert is a special, special talent. Trey Lance, if he ever gets the ability to start, not only would I think that San Francisco is wildly dangerous in the playoffs, but I think that you'd see Trey Lance rocket up in the top 5 at some point throughout the year. So that is my top 5 QBs through week 2. So on this week's Take 5, I'm talking about a subject that I feel very passionate about. And I'm kind of just bringing it up here just because it's going to be a lot of fun. Get you excited for Take 5 dropping Friday at 11 a.m. That is the day of the funeral, but it will automatically upload at 11 a.m. So make sure you watch Take 5, share Take 5s. I enjoy doing them. If you like the smaller, shorter content, you've got to let me know. Drop a comment below the video, share it with a friend, whatever. That helps me tremendously. So my Take 5 this coming week, it's called First Pitch Matters. Now, I know. There's going to be somebody that says that that's disrespectful to Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, blah, 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 blah. Listen, take a pun. Take a joke. Good grief, people. How sensitive is America that you can't even say something like that without me getting 3 or 4 DMs from Karens? There's male Karens too. So don't just put it all on the Karens. You male Karens, the problem with you male Karens is you just come in with aggressive energy, right? You come in and you're just like, I will kill you if you, and you're just like, holy crap, man. Like, this is a podcast that's ran by a 25-year-old moron. There's no need to have some death threats. You know, actually, one of the funniest things ever is I was on TikTok, and, you know, I just posted a TikTok, and I got a DM, and I was just like, oh, you know, in case you all don't follow us on TikTok, it is TLR Podcast 615, same as everything. And listen, we've got a successful following on TikTok. But anyways, I posted a video on TikTok, and, I mean, this was the comment I got from a male Karen. I posted a video. It was about opening game for the Tennessee Titans. Made a cool little TikTok. And, you know, had music in it. Had my friend in it that took me to the game. And I was like, all right, this is a cool TikTok. And the first comment was, you should kill yourself. Can we agree that that's a bit much for a TikTok? Can we agree that people sometimes suck? We all can agree on that. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say is, let's spread the love. Let's support each other. I make dumb stuff all the time. I'm a nerd, I'm a dork, but listen, I enjoy doing this. And if you enjoy the show, giving me a like, a share, a follow, a comment does a lot more than you realize. But anyways, this week's Take 5, first pitch matters. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to talk about the importance, and I mean the importance. I have a passionate fire about this. I'm not the Fuhrer, okay? I have a passionate fire about this. That if you're going to throw an opening pitch at a baseball game, it better be pretty damn good or pretty damn decent. I'm tired of seeing you Conor McGregors, you 50 Cents, you absolute idiot celebrities that can't even get a ball past home plate. So we're going to talk about how passionate I am about this, and we're going to talk about the importance of practice makes perfect. We're going to talk about the importance of that first pitch to set the club up for success. You're telling me that Chicago was going to lose that game by 15 runs? I mean, we don't know. They probably would because it's the Chicago Cubs and we traded half our team away. But when the most embarrassing thing that's happened to the Chicago Cubs is not trading their team away, we got a problem. What kind of energy does that give to your team if you bring out a celebrity, a superstar in Conor McGregor, and he literally throws it so far to the left that even he was like, I don't even know how that ball got that way. It's important that a good first pitch happens because it is going to help set up that team for success. So if you want to hear more, if you want to hear my fiery take on Take 5, it's an Instagram TV exclusive. Check it out Friday, 11 a.m. Well, there you have it. That is the end of the show. That's it. We're done. But before you go, thanks for listening. Thanks for being a Locker Room Faithful member. And if you're not a member, if you're a first timer, if you want to become a member, it's super simple. Follow us on our social media. Listen, like, love, DM, whatever you want. All things Locker Room. You can become a Locker Room Faithful too. Once again, everybody, I will see you next Tuesday. I will see you next week. I will see you on Take 5. Make sure you're playing College Game Day Pick'em Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And I'm Jacob Courtwright, and this is The Locker Room.